Moccasins are back in town looking to kick up some dirt and play spoiler. Howdy, folks. Welcome back to the Tank Akins Ford Arena for tonight's rematch between the Athens Rock Lobsters and the Monroe Moccasins. I'm Matt Rad, bringing you the action live on the Athens Rock Lobster Network, whether you're watching on YouTube or listening on 98.7 FM and AM 1340 WGAU. We're glad to have you on board. If you haven't already, hit subscribe, like the stream, and ring the bell so you never miss a moment of Rock Lobsters hockey. Last night, Monroe came out guns blazing, jumping to a 3-1 lead in the first period before Athens wrangled them back in. Orca Wislat cut the deficit in the second. Garrett Milan tied it in the third. And though the Lobsters thought that they took the lead, a too-many-men penalty erased a would-be Philip Virgili game winner. So we went to a shootout. Daniil Glukaryov showed ice in his veins, scoring twice to secure a 4-3 win and keep Athens charging towards the top of the Continental Division. With the win coming in the shootout as opposed to regulation, the Rock Lobsters are yet to pip the Thunderbirds for the number one spot, but that could happen tonight. However, Carolina would also then have a game at hand. Meanwhile, as you see, Monroe still on the outside looking in at the playoff race, desperate for points. The Moccasins need a response tonight, and if they can start as strong as they did yesterday, this game could get rowdy. Now, let's highlight our fan saves impact players of the game. Two guys who know when to make an impact when the pressure is on. For Monroe, it's the veteran Dustin Jousseau, a player who knows how to light the lamp and stir the pot. He had a goal in last night's thriller, and if Monroe wants to even the score, Jousseau will have to be a big part of it. For Athens, it's going to be Garrett Milan, their own veteran, a true cowboy on skates. He scored twice last night, including the game-tying goal. And if there's one thing we know, it's that Milan shines when the stakes are high. He comes into the night leading the FPHL in goals, assists, and points. The Fan Saves Impact Player segment is brought to you by the Fan Saves app. Download Fan Saves and make sure you follow the Rock Lobsters to access the team's digital coupon book. Now we'll take a look at tonight's Akins Ford engine starters, but that's where we usually do that in this portion of the segment, but we still have yet to receive starters from head coach Steve Martinson, so we'll be surprised on who comes on out to the ice. The team physician provided by Piedmont Athens Regional is Dr. Alec Graff. The Athens Rock Lobster starting lineup is brought to you by Akins Ford. If you're making a deal on a new Ford truck, why not deal with Georgia's biggest and best Ford dealership? That wraps up our Piedmont Athens Regional pregame show. Piedmont, real change lives here. The Rock Lobsters are roping in wins, but Monroe's looking to crash the rodeo. Buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride. Puck drop is coming up after this commercial break. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about my
future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing.
You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
When you're the Athens Rock Lobsters' biggest enforcer, life can get pretty messy. That's when Justin Portillo calls Crawford Laundry. Justin Portillo only trusts Crawford Laundry to get his toughest game day stains out in plenty of time for the next one.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Out come the Athens Rock Lobsters to the ice. A very exciting game last night. And now we learn who the starters are for tonight's matchup. It's the Red Deer Rocket himself, the first to be announced, Kason Gallant, continuing to lead the FPHL in power play goals. Too sweet to be sour and too sweet to be Finnish, Philip Virgili. Andrew Stafura making his debut and getting the start around Virgili and Gallant. Very interesting. Captain Fantastic, Carter Shanker. And then Adam Oja, another Swede in the starting five. And then William Lavalier, head coach Steve Martinson, has been going back and forth between his two goaltenders, and Lavalier is back into the cage tonight. Here we see our student skaters, our kids captains. Steve Martinson has deployed his starting five here. And now it is time for the national anthem. It's going to be sung tonight by the Athens Christian School Chorus. A mighty cute anthem contingent tonight, if I do say so myself. Here is the national anthem, the Stars and Stripes, sung by Athens Christian School Chorus. A beautiful rendition of our nation's anthem, if I do say so myself. The Rock Lobsters secured their 10th ever win against the Monroe Moccasins last night, and it came in dramatic fashion in the shootout. Let's see if the Rock Lobsters can make it a little less traumatic on our cardiac systems here. Rock Lobsters celebrating Western Wednesday here at Akins Ford Arena. We've got half-priced White Claws in the building tonight. 20 minutes on the clock here to start this game. A reminder that the Moccasins were the ones that started out hot last night. Despite the fact that Athens had gone on an early power play, it was Houston Wilson, the former teammate of Malik Johnson, Garrett Milan, and Orca Wislat, who opened the scoring on the shorthand. There's been some changes as well for the Moccasins over the two nights. Some of that may be enforced by the two-game suspension that was handed out to Trigby Miniguns. But it also is a change in net tonight. Cody Karpinski, the 32-year-old from Chicago, Illinois, in for Sean Kuhn. Virgili against Caden Henry. Henry scored in the game last night. Virgili believed he had scored. That goal ended up being waved off. Shanker around the end boards. Seeing a little bit of pace there from Stafura. Shot came from the line. Pad save from Lavalier. Virgili smacks it in from the right side. Gallant will chase. trying to just bounce around Favreau there. Stopped at the line by Shanker. He finds Gallant at the ed boards. First touch of the puck for Stafura, trying to make something happen. He's surrounded by two, gets edged out, and now Henry trying to send the Moccasins the other way. Lofted in, dangerous play as the puck dropped down in front of Hugo Koch. Lavalier has lost his stick. There was a chance there for Oja to get it back to him, but here come the Moccasins once again. Let's see if they could take advantage of the fact that Lavalier has lost his goalie stick. Rock Lobsters take it right back. Daniil Glukaryov into the zone. Karpinski into the trap to play it. Over into the right side boards from his perspective. Bounced around just so, and Bacon over to his D partner, Schumacher. Off the skate there, the pass from Wilson, and the Rock Lobsters have scored. Guess who? Super Milan himself. He entered the night having been in a tie for the FPHL lead in goals. Garrett Milan now has the solo lead with 34. Let's take another look with the Crawford Laundry spin cycle. That mistake of a pass from Wilson, the former teammate of Milan, maybe he thought they still were teammates. He assists the goal from Garrett Milan. Don't think that one will go down in the scorebook with any assist. We'll find out. Milan right back into the face-off circle, the first shot on goal of the night, and that also marks the 6th time this season that Milan has scored the first goal in a game. It was a great pass towards Glukaryov. It's off the boards. Karpinski has to think quick on his feet. Almost gave an opportunity for Glukaryov to double the lead. Dumped into the zone by Kyle Powell. Out of the corner, Hal Gustafson behind the net. Good cut out there from Weisblatt. Backhander from Glukaryov. Good save from Karpinski. Couldn't save the first shot, but he saves the second. Rock Lobsters setting the tone here. They have the quicker draw between these two Cowboys. Good protection of the puck there from Sabad. Gets the pass back into the zone. Hal Gustafson from his own right circle. Meanders towards behind Karpinski's net. Anderson. Backhand sweeper over to Henry. The Moccasins at this point just trying to find a route out of their own zone. Koivuniemi out to the right. Swede to Swede pass there. Hugo Koch tries to just bounce it to himself. He'll bounce off of Garcia. Russell cuts it out. Able to find Papa Petros. Great centering pass there. Moccasins couldn't get anything on it, and Favreau can't stop it at the line. Favreau, good move there on Russell, sends it back into his own zone, finds his partner, Rasmus Asp, whistled in, but that'll go down as icing with a little less than 2 minutes, rather less than 3 minutes gone. The Rock Lobsters have the lead through Garrett Milan's 34th of the season. He's a point away from his 90th. Just noticing that there's a little bit of a tie up there between a couple personnel. Face-off getting taken the length of the ice to the right of Karpinski. Gallant, Virgili, and Stafura. Henry already getting kicked out of the circle. Or is he? I think he thought he did. Virgili gets enough on it to get it back to Oja. Gallant lets it run, finds Stafura behind the net. Stafura with a good poke check. Unable to settle that puck, but Virgili's there to sweep things up. Great centering pass! Rock Lobsters make it 2! This Monroe Moccasin team doesn't even know what's happened at this point. They've woken up, and all of a sudden it's 2-0. 2 minutes in pretty much, rather 2 goals in pretty much 3 minutes. It all happened so quick, but we'll get another look at it. Stafura, I think, will get his first assist. Virgili, though, with a primary towards Gallant in the right circle, and he just doesn't miss from that kind of area. Back in action. Rock Lobsters lead 2-0. Wilson out in front of Lavalier's goal. Couldn't direct anything towards the French-Canadian. And it will indeed be the first Rock Lobster point for Andrew Stafora. And it comes in just his first 3 minutes as a crustacean. He does have one other professional point. It came in his 3 games in the SPHL with the Fayetteville Marksmen. Glukarioff, Danny dangles over the line, loses an edge, recollects the puck though. Up the right side, Kolatarski with a one-timer. Right out in front, Milan. It is not settled at all by Karpinski. Wislat trying to get away, takes a big hit from Bacon. What happened to this Moccasins team that we watched last night that were a danger, that were a threat? Another broken stick brought to you by Junk South. If you have your own broken debris in your yard, why not call Junk South 855 RIP Junk? Goals from Milan and Gallant. There's a reason why they're the Athens Rock Lobsters leaders in that category. Wicked shots from both of them. Now Karpinski has seen that firsthand. Picard around for Alden. Avery Smith completing that trio here. Smith gets it to Kolatarsi. Stuck back into the corner. Alden. Beautiful centering pass. Picard. It was so quick from Alden, perhaps even Picard didn't know it was coming. Finally, something that benefits the Moccasins. The Rock Lobsters are going to the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Kolatarsi for the trip on Declan Conway. An opening here for the Moccasins. Having the breath taken out of their lungs by going down 2-0 early. They have a chance to get right back into it with a power play. However, the Rock Lobsters are in possession of the #1 penalty kill in the FPHL, having killed more than 88% of the penalties faced this season. Great little poker there from Orca Wislat to impede on the pass from Liriakos. Difficult for the Moccasins to get settled here, but here comes Liriakos entering in, loses an edge. He spills out onto the ice, and Milan diving onto the white and getting that puck out of the zone. Already 30 seconds shaved off this Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Favreau over the red line, and that should be a penalty the other way. Philip Virgili blatantly hit in the face with a high stick. Referees don't bite on that one, and the Moccasins will stay up a man with 1:05 to go on their power play. Anderson always has a little speed in his skates. Sabad from the right circle missed the net. Alden, not sure if he got anything from his twig on that puck at all, but Rock Lobsters have the puck out of the zone. Papa Petros trying to shadow Blake Anderson. Anderson around for Schumacher, plays it with the skate, over to the right for Conway. Conway looking for the net himself. That goes off the top of the glove of Lavalier. Best this power play has looked for the Moccasins thus far. Stefanini thought about taking it out in front, instead finds Sabad in the far corner. Sabad, Conway. Beautiful positioning for him and a blocker save from Lavalier. Glukarioff gets in front of a shot. He's hurting in front of him. I think that one may have hit a delicate area. Moccasins try to re-enter on the left side from our perspective. Anderson wriggling free once again, getting into the right circle. He'll wrap around Lavalier's net. Centering pass out to the right. Declan Conway, another save from Lavalier. Kolatarsi back out on the ice. Both teams at even strength. Is there still something here for the Moccasins? Loose puck out in front. Smith gets it away. Banked off the glass by Kolatarsi, who then took a hit in behind, and the Rock Lobsters have iced the puck. But it looks like we're going to a commercial break. Rock Lobsters lead 2-0 after just about 7 minutes in this one. There's still a lot of game to go, though. Stay tuned. Stay buckled with us here, right here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living. offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. Last night was Terrapin Tuesday. Tonight it's White Claw Western Wednesday. 13-11 to go in the first period. Rock Lobsters lead 2-0 thanks to goals from their top two goal scorers, Garrett Milan and Kason Gallant. Milan with his 34th of the year and Gallant with his 32nd. They mark only 2 of the 5 players in the FPHL who have scored 30-plus goals. Shots on goal now in favor, however, of the Monroe Moccasins. Can they get another shot here off the faceoff? Pass from Wilson goes in between the skates of Jusso. Jusso surrounded by 2, trying to center a pass, cut out by Glukarioff, taken the other way. Wilson pokes it back in, but taken away from Wislat. Wislat with a good move, but an even better defensive play with a stick there from the veteran, the journeyman, Dustin Jusso. Jusso with a move to the right, flips it back. Wilson over the center of the ice, enters on the right side, puts it between the skates of his former teammate Wislat. Conway just tries to butter the biscuit for Jusso, but left him a little bit short. Rock Lobsters send it the length of the ice and right at Karpinski. The Rock Lobsters have caused some issues for the Moccasins on the Monroe side of the ice. Milan trying to do that once again, but couldn't take it off of Kali Koivuniemi. Jusso. Nice little move here from the Hungarian Sabad. Sabad to the far side boards. Good poke check from Oja. Rock Lobsters now moving from east to west. Wislat to Oja. Oja finds Milan at the line. Little toe drag shot around the defenseman, but a good save with the pad of Karpinski. Another centering pass. Glukarioff didn't miss by much. Nice vision there from Kason Gallant. Liriakos meets a roadblock in Oja, but gets the biscuit past him towards Favreau. Favreau, a nice little 1-2 move at the line. The Moccasins doing a much better job here at forcing openings to try and get shots into. Here's Stafura, who just logged his first point as a Rock Lobster. Virgili trying to make it 2 for Stafura, but his shot is into the glove of Karpinski. You could not ask for a better start to this game if you're head coach Steve Martinson. Right now, his team is jumping on everything, specifically on the forecheck. They have really troubled the Monroe defensemen who are trying to play out their half of the ice. Much easier said than done when you go up against the Rock Lobsters. Smith loses out on the draw, whisked around by Bacon, stopped at the line by Garcia. Tries to stick it back in, but it's off the upper body of Blake Anderson. Garcia sets the pick on Anderson, giving a little bit more time to his fellow young defensive partner, Zach Papapetros. Russell gets a tip on it at the line, sent into the far corner. Russell impeding Koch, opening things up for Picard. Picard was looking for Smith right out in front of the Monroe net. Garcia, though, with some great defensive work, gets the puck back, but then takes it over before that. Picard had already taken a step in, so that's going to go down as an offside. Rock Lobsters up early. That's something they could not say in the early going of last night's game, as the Moccasins had found themselves up 1-0, and then at the end of the first period, up 3-1. The Rock Lobsters battled back to tie things up at 3-3, sent the game to overtime, and then the shootout. Even in the shootout, the Rock Lobsters potentially thought that they were going to lose their first game to the Moccasins. Felt like an easy tripping call to make there, but here come the Moccasins the other way. Wilson with a good move around Shanker. Good recovery, though, from Captain Fantastic. The Moccasins scored on their first 2 shots of the shootout, but then Josh Rosenzweig stopped 3 consecutive shots, just as Lavalier did on the shot from Koivu Niemi. Koivu Niemi recycles from the line. Conway trying to get free, unable to do so from the new man, Stafura. After Rosenzweig made the big saves in the shootout, goals from Milan to extend sudden death, and then Glukarioff to polish it off and secure 2 points. How about that? Milan plays it with a skate brilliantly over to Wislat, gets it right back, misses the net by a margin. Stealing a move out of Milan's book, Sabad with a good play with the skate. Liriakos all the way back around towards Sabad. That one awkwardly off the side of the net, stopped at the line by Favreau. Favreau trying to do everything he can to get it to Sabad. Rock Lobsters have some bodies ahead here. Glukarioff takes it in himself. He gets it pushed away from him, does the Russian. Caden Henry, one of the fastest skaters I've seen this year at Akins Ford Arena. Great pass. Asp. That was Asp to Liriakos to Koch. Brilliant passing play out in front of Lavalier, but they still couldn't trouble the former Moccasin. Crustacean Nation was hoping for a much more comfortable start to this game after their blood pressure was tested in last night's contest. Right now, this Athens team is doing a good job of giving them that comfort. Anderson, right onto the blade of the stick of Koch. Ooh, that one right off the top of the glass. If that one missed a little higher, that could have been a delay of game. Alden has rockets in his skates tonight. Picard, that went off the stick of Bacon and into the netting, and we go back to another commercial media timeout. Rock Lobsters continue to lead 2-0. Do the Moccasins have something to say before we go to the intermission? We'll find out after this.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
Since 1968, we've been your trusted source for home comfort. From then to now, we've evolved, but our commitment to your comfort remains unchanged. Experience the expertise that only decades of dedicated service can provide. Trust Stanfield. We've been keeping homes comfortable for over 50 years. Your comfort, our legacy. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Crustacean Nation, the time is now. Season tickets for the upcoming Rock Lobsters season are officially on sale. Why don't you go ahead, take out your phone, scan the QR code on your screen now to secure your season tickets and be part of every hard-hitting, goal-scoring, crowd-roaring moment right here in the tank, Akins Ford Arena. Don't miss your chance to experience the energy, the excitement, and the best hockey in the Classic City all season long. Milan with a clean face-off win. Back to Carter Shanker. Shanker going from left to right. His pass is out of the zone, but right toward Adam Oja, so no danger there. Oja up the left side. Milan able to caress that puck into his good graces. Wislat with a U-turn on the far side boards. Banks it towards Milan. Setting up Shanker. Fakes the slapper. Sends a wrister instead! Captain Fantastic is fantastic indeed, and so is this start from the Athens Rock Lobsters. This has been a nightmare beginning for Cody Karpinski, who's let in a third of the shots he's seen so far. Let's take another look. The fake of the slapper from Shanker with a step out onto the left circle sends the wrister and the signature celebration from the Rock Lobster captain. Smith with a face-off against Henry, able to tie him up long enough for Picard to get it back to Kolatarsi. Out to the left is Powell. Alden, did he get a touch on that one? Karpinski asking for the icing, and he'll get granted to him. Milan and Wislat with the assists on the Shanker goal. Another 2-point night already for Garrett Milan as he tries to extend his lead at the top of the FPHL point rankings. Smith will take the face-off against Henry again. Moccasins get first contact on it, but unable to settle it was Liriakos. Kolatarsi trying to take the body on Sabad, both of them getting tied up in the corner. Liriakos takes it away. Good centering pass off the knee of Hal Gustafson, swept away by Powell. Picard tried to impede Hal Gustafson there. Henry still has it, looking for that same sort of toe drag shot goal that he got last night. He's unable to replicate that effort, and the Rock Lobsters keep their lead of 3-0. The Moccasins, having lost their 7th overtime contest last night, no one in the Continental has lost more in OT than Monroe. However, the Rock Lobsters hoping that it won't take overtime tonight with this big-time lead having occurred in just now the first 13 minutes of the contest. Alden, that one beneficial for Alden. Alden whips a shot in. He can smell blood in the tank and tries to trouble Karpinski. Is tonight the night that Alden scores his first? Sabad. Good move away from Stafura. Hal Gustafson out to the right. Liriakos swats it in, stopped by Lavalier in the trap. Garcia taking his time here, and why rush? Maybe he shouldn't have. Great opportunity, centering pass found Stefanini. Rock Lobsters got enough on it. Puck still loose out in front. Lavalier trying to get his sights on it. Gets pushed out toward the blue line, into the end boards. Russell gets it away. And then Stafura away from Favreau. Stefanini with a couple good moves, but then loses the puck, didn't take it with him. Rock Lobsters clear out. No icing granted toward the Moccasins this time. Virgili, backhand poke into the zone. Both teams with 10 shots on goal in the first about 14 minutes here. Shanker tries to cut the center toward Virgili, but Jusso now has it. Jusso down on a knee, gets the pass off towards Anderson. Backhander all the way back to Favreau. Shanker getting in front of Jusso. A calamity of bodies out behind Lavalier's net. Wilson takes it away. Backhand to the corner that he was just at, Jusso. Bacon at the line, all the way across. Wilson takes a hit from Papapetros. Good pressure here from the Moccasins. And perhaps the most they've had the puck in the offensive zone. And right as I say that, it's cut out by Athens. 4:50 to go in the first period. Not the start that the Moccasins were looking for. Liriakos' pass gets intercepted. Wislat lays the body on Conway on the far side. Shanker doesn't get a touch on that one. Milan helps it back to his captain, though, and then Milan then sweeps it toward the other corner. Liriakos back in behind the net. Tries a tight angle centering pass. Gets it right back to him, but Henry unable to trouble the Rock Lobsters defense any longer. But right as I say that, here he is again. Loose out in front. Conway stuffed by Lavalier. Glukarioff in the left circle. His shot deflected off of Bacon, falling down for Schumacher. The Monroe captain looking for a way out as the Snakes have dug their own pit here in Akins Ford Arena. Glukarioff. Kolatarsi. Defenseman looking like a forward. Dumps in, chases it, takes a hit from Stefanini, trying to poke it away from Hal Gustafson. Picard around the Swedish defenseman. Great pickup there from Alden. Alden goes forehand, backhand. That one floats precariously over the bar of Karpinski. Alden wins it back with his own skate. Quick U-turn right at the red line. Here come the Rock Lobsters again. Smith out of the corner. Sends it through the end boards toward Picard. Picard still has it. Smith takes a hit in behind from Koivuniemi. Stefanini able to pop the balloon of pressure that the Rock Lobsters had heaped on in this shift. But it'll come right back to them as they commit the icing. We go back to a commercial break here. Claw Cam starting on Western White Claw Wednesday. When we come back, the last 3 minutes of this first period. Farm Burger is defined by its mission, its farms, its team, and its family. In 2008, our co-founders gathered around a single idea: redefine the burger by bringing together a community of ranchers, farmers, chefs, restaurateurs, and eaters. Our promise is to strive every day and with every burger to uphold these core values to each and every one of you. We do that by holding ourselves to a higher standard. Grass-fed and grass-finished, that means our cattle are never fed grain. Our belief feeds our mission, and our mission is to feed you.
Every business owner who's built a business wonders about their company's legacy. What's the path forward after they decide to take a step back? At the heart of every succession plan is a vision that safeguards hard-earned success. This isn't just paperwork. It's your roadmap, guiding a business during a change in ownership and detailing how ownership transitions and key financial decisions unfold. This instills a profound sense of pride, belonging, innovation, and commitment, ensuring a stable future for the company and a rewarding exit for you. Let's forge that path together.
If you asked Rock Lobster fans to kind of choose 3 skaters that have dictated the offense of the Rock Lobsters this year, we see Oja with a shot that's right into the mitt of Karpinski. You might say the 3 that make up that kind of definition is Garrett Milan, Carter Shanker, and Kaysen Gallant. Well, it turns out those are the 3 that have scored the 3 goals in this game. That's shot on goal number 12 on the night for the Rock Lobsters. 2:50 to go in this first period. Let's see if they can compound the fracture on the Moccasins in this first period of play. Jusso gets kicked out. Conway takes his place, and Conway, someone who did not play in last night's contest. Milan to Weisblatt. Oja. Great combination of play there. Great understanding. Over to the left side of the net. Little deflection out from Glukarioff on the effort from Milan. Glukarioff tied up by a combination of Jusso and Asp. Weisblatt down to the ice. No call there from the officials. The Rock Lobsters still await their first power play. Backhand flip, chased by Conway, who pokes in at Garcia. Look at the movement here from the Rock Lobsters. Glukarioff out to the right. Weisblatt looking out in front of him, sees Garcia at the end board, spills past the defenseman and into the feet of Milan. Gets tied up by Favreau. Conway can't get it away from Glukarioff, plays it down with his glove, sends it back into the end boards. Milan leading the rest of his line to change as Glukarioff will forward check and keep the pressure on. People asking about Malik Johnson in the chat, and I don't really have any good answer there for you. I believe we saw him warming up, and I was curious myself on the composition of the forward lines tonight with the debut of Stafura. Papa Petros down to a split there. Very happy to see him quickly back to his feet. Good vision. Shanker towards his best friend, Philip Virgili, and unfortunately missed him, and that'll be an icing against the Rock Lobsters. So Malik Johnson, not sure what's happening there, but of course, these college players, players like Zach Papapetros and players like Andrew Stafura, are players that won't be eligible to play in the playoffs for the Rock Lobsters. So perhaps the health of his top guys is something that is heavy on head coach Steve Martinson's mind. Kaysen Gallant never gave up on that. Philip Virgili. How sweet is the Swede, and how sweet is this start? The Athens Rock Lobsters have ensured that they're the first thing the Moccasins think about when they wake up and the last thing that they think about before going to sleep. Casey Gallant, he never got eyes on that puck. He just kept going, knowing that something was coming his way. It drops right down to him, is not the selfish player, and feeds his line mate, Philip Virgili. That duo combining once again on a goal. We're seeing the officials get together here. Looks like for some reason Shanker has to go back to the bench in place of Kolatarsi. Another kick out of the faceoff dot for the Moccasins. Smith treating that stick like a broom, just sweeps it back. Bacon with a big hit on Stafora. Goal from, a dangerous opportunity, and the Moccasins have one back. A pass right through the crease of Lavalier, and stuffing it in on the other side is Stefanini. There was not much more that the Moccasins could have dreaded in this first period. And they're able, through their hard work, to scratch one back. It potentially came at the right time because now they go into the tunnel for the first intermission with something to build off of when there was really nothing after the first 20. Stefanini from Anderson and icing here against the Moccasins. Something that is to be noted on the goal from Virgili. The assist came from Casey Gallant, which we saw, but maybe something that you didn't see was Zach Papapetros. He gets his first assist as a pro and as a Rock Lobster with the secondary assist on Virgili's fourth goal, rather the fourth goal for the Rock Lobsters in this period. Gallant takes a spill out of the faceoff, still gets it free for Oja. Karpinski still looking for something to settle himself down in the crease. Oja gets it free for Weisblatt, but Weisblatt right onto the stick of Koch. Koch into Anderson, unable to really put it on his own route to make it a breakaway. He's now surrounded by a trio of Rock Lobsters, and that trifecta is able to deal with the breakaway from Anderson. Milan in behind Hal Gustafson. A little centering pass. Karpinski gets a poke on it, but that will do it for the action in the first period. And my goodness, there was a lot of action indeed. Karpinski, I didn't see if he lost the water bottle there or if he kind of threw it towards the bench. Maybe it's empty, maybe it needs filling, hard to say. But the Rock Lobsters making sure that Karpinski was quite troubled through the first 20 minutes. He sees just as many shots as Lavalier did, but the Rock Lobsters able to find the net on Karpinski 4 times through the first 20 minutes. Goals from Garrett Milan. That was an unassisted one as Milan forced the turnover and converted it himself. Kaysen Gallant staying hot as well. Carter Shanker right after him. And then the first assist, the first point as a Rock Lobster for Zach Papapetros, who I am now dubbing the Athenian anchor. He was able to get an assist on Virgili's goal, which was the 4th of the period. The Rock Lobsters couldn't ask for a better first 20, but right as you start to say that, in the final minute, Stefanini is able to convert a feed from Blake Anderson, and that made it 4-1 late on. Still a lot of positives out of the first period for the Rock Lobsters, and we go to another Lobster Tales portion here. We saw Carter Shanker get on the scoreboard with another tremendous shot from Captain Fantastic. Let's hear our Lobster Tales from Captain Fantastic himself, Carter Shanker. Voice of the Rock Lobsters, Matt Rad, and you're watching Lobster Tales. It's the best way to learn about your favorite Athens Rock Lobster players. And lots of you have been clamoring for a talk with today's guest. I may know him as Captain Fantastic, but you might know him as Carter Shanker. Shanks, how you doing, my man?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great, my brother. You're always one of my absolute favorite guys to talk to. You were the first guy I ever talked to and ever interviewed after I was hired. Looking back to that time, I can't believe, how huge it's all gotten. Thinking about the arena, the play of the team, how fervent the flame of the fans is. Looking back from how you felt back then to how you feel now, are even you surprised on how everything has gone down?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's always uncertainty with the first-year program. What's the fan base going to be like? Is the team going to be successful? Kind of will anyone know who you are in town? But it's caught like wildfire, and it kind of started when you kind of got a feeling of, oh, we're onto something here. Was even before we got to play at home. I think we were on the road first, 11, 12 games, and we had that Christmas parade and kind of our first time being in the city of Athens, and people are going crazy, when our float when we were doing the parade, and, you have a bunch of people with the claws up, you guys are awesome, can't wait to see you, all that stuff. And you kind of, you felt a little special, and, it's just, the turnouts for the games have been great. Fan support, walking around town, people recognize us. So, it's been a cool experience, and everything I think a player can ask for so far.
One of the things I wanted to talk to you about was your captaincy. I remember asking you about getting the C when it happened at the beginning of the season. Do you feel like the importance and the weight of that letter has grown since being able to play out in front of the fans in Akins Ford Arena?
I try not to put too much thought into it, to be honest. I know, older guy, and, kind of expected to be a leader on a team when you wear a letter, but at the end of the day, it's a small patch on a jersey, and we got lots of older guys with, tons of great insight of the game who play the game right and conduct themselves the right way. So, it's leadership by committee, and, first year captain, you're just trying to set the tone, lead by example, but try not to think about too much. Just wake up every day, go to work, and try to do all the right things, and hopefully the guys see that, follow along. And like I said, lots of leaders on this team. It's been fun getting to establish our culture, and having meetings with guys and constantly kind of tweak. And hey, do we like how we're doing things this way? Do we want to change? And it's kind of the cool thing with the first year program. You're not building off culture from years before, trying to change it or fix it. It's more, you got to create it, and you create it by committee, collective effort. And, that's the definition of a team, is everyone pulling on the same rope and trying to win hockey games.
There's already been a ton of fantastic memories involved with this team in its first year, and hopefully there's still plenty of more to come in this season. But you've really had a front row view of every fantastic moment the club has experienced this year. When you look back at this first season in club history, what is the first moment that comes to mind?
Probably, playing the first game at home was a special moment. Waited a little bit longer than we wanted to, but patience is a virtue, I suppose. But we did this thing after the game where we take a little victory lap when we win, and thank our fans for coming, and salute the crowd. And that first time at home, had a big crowd, swept the weekend. Fans are going crazy, and you kind of, special feeling for sure. So lots of great moments. Best moment is still yet to come at the end of the season, but so far a bunch of small victories along the way. And, I think the boys are looking forward to, the last 2 months of the season, and they're the most fun, most taxing, most demanding, physically, mentally, emotionally, but it's all worth it in the end. Come May, when we're racing the cup, all that hard work pays off.
One thing I've been interested about, and I've asked a ton of the guys about, is the treatment of the players from this organization. It feels like something we're seeing more and more in the news recently, how players are getting treated in the minors. Your playing has spanned across the coast, the SB, other Fed teams, even in Hungary. How does this organization weigh up in terms of facilities and treatment of players?
Well, facilities, bar none in minor pro hockey. I mean, it's pretty much an AHL rink. We get treated incredibly well here, and we're blessed and fortunate, and try not to take it for granted. You'd be on the ice, and guys will come up to you. You guys get treated well. Like, it seems like an unreal place to play, and bluntly, you guys say, yeah, we're we're spoiled. Like I said, try not to take it for granted. Played in different leagues in the Fed. I don't think there's a better place to play, and I'm not just saying that. I played in different markets, and every place has pros and cons. There's not really too many cons playing here. You have good staff, good fan base, a good arena, good town, good fan support, winning team. As a player, checks off pretty much every single box that you can think of. Guys who get traded, or we sign from other teams, even different leagues. It's kind of a shocking eye moment, especially the first time they see the arena, going, holy smokes, this is pro hockey. And we try to create the standard, both on and off the ice of East Coast Hockey League standards. So it's the habits that we try to enforce every single day, and that's not just from the players, it comes from the staff, and everyone part of the organization has done a great job getting this thing going, and it's taken off. And you put time, effort, energy into anything, it's going to pay off, and that's kind of what you're seeing happening in Athens with hockey right now.
I want to zoom in onto your play on the ice a little bit. I don't think there's anyone that plays as a defenseman like you do in this league, and a lot of that has to do with your background primarily as a forward. You've seen a couple games this season at forward as well. I remember those couple games in Columbus. Was that something that made you excited getting to play at center again, or are you seeing how much you're influencing the game from the blue line right now?
Yeah, it's always nice to, I guess, kind of switch it up a little bit. And I think the first 29 years of my life, I was playing forward, and then made the transition to D. So when you got to go back, it's a blast from the past, and I like it. Win a couple face-offs, get to chirp our centers a little bit. That's how it's done, boys, sort of thing. But yeah, I think a lot of guys, you see Russ go forward, play forward in D. We had Demke, a couple guys. The guys here, whatever it takes, they play forward, they play D. I play goalie if I needed to. It's kind of, what does the team need? And the boys are more than willing to get it done and do it for the team and organization.
I was on the road trip to Blue Ridge, and it was right after the Four Nations face-off. We're still not too far removed from it. You're a proud Canadian boy from British Columbia. How heated did it get between the Canadian guys and the American guys as you guys got to watch that tournament unfold?
Yeah, it was awesome. There's a lot of chirps, a lot of side wagers, and not just with the Americans, but Phil's Swedish, so gotta get my skates untied from him a few times. So it's all in good fun, but I think people are patriotic with their country. I mean, I've spent a lot of time in the U.S. I think U.S. is a great country, but proud Canadian. So when they got it done in the finals, it's definitely bragging rights, and you're walking in, your head's a little bit higher, your chest is out a little bit, and you got to kind of anytime you can kind of pick on some of the teammates and good fun, it's free game, and boys are willing to do it.
I was going to ask, did everyone just kind of gang up on Phil? He's the only Swedish guy, and there's maybe a third of the team's Americans, another third is Canadians. Did everyone just gang up on Phil and bully him?
I think people gang up on Phil quite a bit, regardless of the Four Nations. He's a easy target, but the boys love Phil. He's an awesome teammate, good friend of mine. I've known Phil for a long time, so he's a big part of this team, big puzzle piece, voice in the locker room. Everyone respects him. Everyone loves Phil. So, but when you can, Phil gives you an inch, you'll take a mile, just because you love the reactions, and it's all part of what we love about him.
Speaking about pride from where you're from, another BC guy just got added into the mix. Kyle Powell recently signed with the team. I was curious how he's fitting into the fray with you and Garrett Milan, who are both from BC.
Yeah, can't have enough Western Canadian kids on the hockey team. So he's been awesome. Small sample size so far, but he's meshed in well with the boys. Played the same junior hockey team that he played with, just a few years apart. But it's always kind of nice, part of the game, which especially if you meet new people, but it's also kind of nice to have some familiarities with cities, towns, and experiences that you had back home that you can kind of swap stories with. So he's a big boy, tough guy. The conversation I was had with him, he's here for a reason. He wants to do his job. He's done everything we've asked for him so far, and it'll continue to grow with even all the other new guys. It takes a little bit to build chemistry, but that's kind of our job as players and older guys to make them feel welcome, and kind of talks of, hey, there's been a decent amount of turnover lately. What's something we can do for team bonding? I know we're talking about going bowling, and weather's getting nicer, just kind of doing something. More time you spend with the boys, the more you're going to be closer. The closer you are, the more you're going to play for each other on the ice. So Kyle's done a great job. Charismatic, fun-loving guy to loves life, always a smile on his face. So he's been a great addition for us.
Well, since we're introducing a new segment to our show in this episode where we reach out to Crustacean Nation and ask them for questions to ask you, we're simply calling it Question a Crustacean. Our first question comes from close friend of the show and admin of our Rock Lobster fan page, Niven McCrary. She wants to know, which teammate would you least want to be stranded with on a deserted island? I think might know your answer.
There's well, I wouldn't care about a stranded with anyone, but a few, just for the sake of friendly kind of banter and picking on someone. I'll say my boy Phil. Him and I, we get arguments all in good taste. Like we're super close, but I'm pretty sure we would be wringing each other's necks after a couple of days. And then, it like I said, all in good fun. But for the sake of, I like picking on Phil. I'll say Phil for sure.
I was gonna say, you say that, but aren't you guys roommates on the road?
Yeah, roommates on the road. Sometimes not too many words spoken. A lot. Sometimes can't shut us up. So, but that's all part of the brotherhood. So, like I said, anytime I can pick on him and show him the video of me doing so, I'll definitely take that chance and opportunity.
Well, Shanks, our next question comes from Shannon Vanskike, and you've told me this story before, but she wants to know how you lost your teeth.
Yeah, it happened a couple years ago. Just kind of forechecking a D, and I think he tried to go glassing out and went my face and in with the puck. So kind of knew right away that you could kind of feel they were chipped and pretty wiggly. Went to the bench, and I think there was only like 3 minutes left in the game. So let's worry about it after the game. Had some blood on the jersey. Had to go to the locker room, and then I ended up actually like pulling 2 of my teeth, and I was going to go for a third one, and kind of thought after the 2 of them were out, I'm getting a little trigger happy here. I kind of want to keep my teeth in my mouth. So I always say you got to look the part. It's pay the hockey tax every now and then. So it was cool for a couple of weeks. I had a hockey player missing some teeth. Been a couple of years. Looking forward to the day I get them permanently fixed, and but all part of the game, and should probably wear a mouth guard, learning lesson, but that's the way it goes. Like I said, you pay the hockey tax every now and then. I paid it. Hopefully no more missing teeth in the future.
Adam Waters with a technical question. He says, during a power play, how do you know when to rip a slap shot or distribute the puck? What are you seeing that influences that decision? He also adds, I love the Captain Fantastic slap shots on the Paloma Park power play. How do you answer that question, Shanks?
Yeah, it's a great question. I think it's just Milan and I, we're always working with each other on the left side of me. I know Galley's there, and Orcs has been there. A couple guys that cycle through. But Milan's kind of been on my right-hand side for a bit, and usually the guy, as a right-handed guy, is giving me the pass. So try to do a little pre-scan. Am I in a position if the puck comes to me? Do I have a lane? Sometimes I think I have a lane. Shots get blocked maybe more than I want them to. But, job at the top of the power play is just kind of distribute when it needs to be distributed. You see if there's any nut front guys creating the screen. And if you have a lane, take a shot. You can't score if you don't shoot. So, it's a little bit of guessing game and hoping, trusting your instincts. But, we kind of work on different looks and stuff like that. So you just kind of, you're constantly reading and feeding off what the other team gives to you. Someone's in the lane, try to pass it. Someone's not in your lane, take a shot.
My next question comes from Sarah Jane Bork-Young. She tells us, we always see you chatting with the refs as someone is heading to the sin bin. What's the most frequent and or ridiculous thing you say?
Probably can't say the most ridiculous or repeat some of the stuff. But no, I try to the reffing, good, bad, ugly, tough job for refs. Got to have some thick skin. You're constantly under a microscope. You're getting berated by fans, players, you name it. So, I just try to get understanding of, every ref has a kind of a line of what they allow and don't allow. So just trying to get consistency out of them and get a clear message of what's going to be called and what isn't. And when it's not consistent, kind of letting them know, hey, this one play is getting called, this other play is not. Try to attract more bees with honey than vinegar with the refs. So you want them on the team's good side. So I'm pretty calm with them. Sometimes emotions can take over, and you kind of have to tell it as it is. But more times than not, just trying to communicate with them, and just see where their line of penalties are being called, and kind of letting them know what we're seeing from our side. And it's player safety as well. We just want our guys to be safe and not getting injured. Guys taking liberties. We're big, strong, fast team, a good team. Other teams are going to have to find ways to get us off our game, and just kind of mediating conversations, really.
Hate to cut off our interview short with Carter Shanker. If it's something that you are interested in continuing to listen to, make sure that you check it out right here on the official Athens Rock Lobster YouTube page. Let's pause briefly for station identification. WGAU and W254CJ Athens, 98.7 FM and AM 1340 WGAU. Crustacean Nation, the time is now. Season tickets for the upcoming Rock Lobsters season are officially on sale. Go ahead and get out your phone, scan this QR code on your screen now to secure your season tickets and join the Rock Lobsters family today. You can lock in your seat and be part of every hard-hitting, goal-scoring, crowd-roaring moment right here in the Tank Akins Ford Arena. Don't miss your chance to experience the energy, the excitement, and the best hockey in town all season long. Well, 20 minutes put back up on the board for the Rock Lobsters and the Moccasins. It was a period to remember for Athens, a period to forget for the Moccasins. 4 goals for Athens and 4 different goal scorers. Milan got it started. Gallant followed, Shanker after him, and then Philip Virgili with the period on top. Sephora ahead for Smith. Smith in the right circle. Loses a handle of it. However, after the Rock Lobsters thought they had a tremendous start to the period and to this game, it was the Moccasins who were able to answer back with a late goal from Stefanini. Sephora tries to take it past Henry. Henry looking for Sabad, who was lurking out in front of Lavalier's net. Smith pokes it ahead, but it takes an awkward bounce back into the Rock Lobsters' defensive end. Kolatarsi banks it right into the net of Lavalier, stopped at the line by the Moccasins and sent back in by Seth Bacon. Dangerous pass through the crease there from Jasso. Right back at him from Schumacher. Waiting out on the doorstep was Conway, who has it back, but then Stafora trying to get it away from him. Declan Conway has the puck back at the line. Thinking about the shot, pad save Lavalier. Much better start to this period from the Moccasins. Reloading is Bacon. He's the only Georgia native out on the ice tonight. Wilson takes it around Kolatarsi, but the Philadelphian gets possession burnt out on him from the Floridian Kolatarsi. Wislat stops it. Clever backhand no-look feed to Glukarioff. Danny dangles into the right circle. Oja thinks about the one-timer. Opts against it, ends up sending a wrister that stings the pad of Karpinski instead. Oja breezing past Bacon, who's had quite a long shift here at the start of the second period. Shanker at the line. Milan gallivanting over to the left circle. Oja back at the blue part of the ice, whiskered around towards Milan. Milan backhands it towards Wislat. Wislat looking for Milan once again, getting enough of a piece of it to send it out as just so, but Shanker stops it in neutral ice. Clever feed there from Wislat looking for Milan. This one is sent into the night sky, falls right back towards the killer whale, who grabs it with the glove. Glukarioff right over the center of the blue line. Milan looking to return it. Instead, it's off the boards in the far corner. Picked back up by Orca. Orca U-turning back and forth on Hal Gustafson. Glukarioff took a hit there off the puck. Rock Lobsters, despite being up 4-1, still looking for their first power play. That pass just a little bit ahead of someone who had a stellar rookie year last year, Hugo Koch, and it appears he was a little ahead of the blue line himself on that pass as he gets whistled for offside. Rock Lobsters with a big-time lead here against the Moccasins. They're no stranger to that, trying to move to an 11-0 all-time against Monroe, and then 17-0 against FPHL squads from Louisiana. Papa Petros, he registered his first Rock Lobster point in the first period. Kason Gallant, seeing that Karpinski was out from the crease, tried a turnaround shot at the boards. Gallant, on the blade of his stick, finds his partner on the dynamic duo, Alden, over the bar. So close to goal number 1 on the season for Athens, number 22. He's getting some time here with Virgili and Gallant. Koch, very, very clever there, and even more clever from Papa Petros to just use the blade of his stick to pin that puck to the shin of Lavalier. With their combined efforts, the Rock Lobsters are able to stop the clock with 16:34 to go. Athens making some changes. The 5-man unit will stay the same for Monroe. Caden Henry, who's perhaps been the biggest thorn in the side of the Rock Lobsters ever since we saw him here at Akins Ford Arena for the first time a few weeks ago. Stafora with Picard and Smith. Stafora unable to take the biscuit with him. Here come the Moccasins the other way. They enter through Henry. Henry kind of fakes his body language towards the net, ends up passing it out to the left for Favreau. Here's Stafora again, taking up the right wing. Stafora trying to get a shot through traffic. It does spill out for Smith here in the near side corner. Stafora throwing his body around, gets the puck free for Smith. Smith can't cast a spell on it, but Garcia pokes it back into contention, sends a shot that is swallowed up by Karpinski. Looks like Karpinski is getting some better vision on some of these pucks. A troublesome first period for the Monroe goaltender, who's had a much more difficult time of things here at Akins Ford Arena than his counterpart, Sean Kuhn. Sean Kuhn has had some tremendous performances in this building. Good face-off win here from the Rock Lobsters. Papa Petros looking to cause havoc out in front, trying out for his second assist of the game. Gallant was the presence on the far post. Papa Petros just missing him by a margin. Alden, head freshly shaved, Shaves it back to the line. Papapetros with a block shot. Wilson gets it back into the collapsed pads of Lavalier. Gallant now taking it the other way. Big time save from Lavalier. Big time speed from Gallant. Right circle centering pass. Never made it to Russell. Wilson gets it poked away. Lavalier. Shanker kicks it to himself. Glukarioff on the left side. Stefanini enters in. I see some people talking in the chat about experiencing some lag. If you could give me any more details, please do. If you haven't already, please try a refresh as well. Wislat trying to get it away from Anderson. Anderson has the puck on his stick. Good pass that rides the line out to the right from Stefanini. For those of you experiencing lag, it's something I'll check on in the next commercial break. Moccasins just playing with a lot more fire than they did in the first. Anderson hassled by Powell, going from the trap into the corner. Clever backhand feed. Henry to Liriakos. Wrap around from Liriakos. Henry with a turnaround shot right into the midsection of Lavalier. That draws a big applause from the Cowboys and Cowgirls watching here at Akins Ford Arena. We go to a commercial break. Rock Lobsters have held on to their 4-1 lead thus far.
When you're the leader, disaster cleanup and restoration, how do you make like it never even happened happen? Fire it up, Randy! By being prepared for anything! Whatever comes your way, there's a pro for that.
Serve Pro, like it never even happened.
This thing on? Perfect.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Back in action here in the second period, 13:54 to go. It's looking much more like the Moccasins team that we saw last night here at this portion of the second period. Right now, they have the advantage in shots on goal, 21-16, but still no goals to show for it in the second period for the visitors just yet. Milan slaps it into the corner. A combination of 4 or 5 players jousting to get this puck free. Much more physical second period here as well. Wislat off of his shin. Kolatarsi almost let it through for Liriakos. Sabad tries to stop it in the high slot. Oja gets it away. He's looking for Milan on the other side of Asp. Asp gets it ahead. Liriakos can only find Kolatarsi. Sent through the center of the ice, picked back up by Favreau. Wislat steps on the brakes to the right of his right circle in the defensive end. Wislat is a difficult man to take the puck off of. Finds Milan on the left side. Milan dumps it in. Whistled around. Glukarioff gets in between the puck and Sabad. Spills out for Papapetros at the line. Glukarioff gets a tip on it. Takes it towards Wislat in the end board. Smith back around towards Papapetros. The Athenian anchor over to Matt Garcia. Garcia, he likes that surprise shot in the line. Takes an awkward bounce off the end boards. Wislat back to the bench. And that's an icing against the Moccasins. Apollo Hockey League with some nice comments in the chat. Thank you very much, Apollo, and thank you for tuning in. First time we've seen your name And thank you for joining us in Crustacean Nation for this Wednesday night game, a rare breed here in the FPHL. The Rock Lobsters leading the Monroe Moccasins 4-1. However, shots on goal 21-16 in favor of the Moccasins. They're hoping that that will pay off for them at some point. Another broken stick out on the ice, and when Junk South knows that Crustacean Nation sees a broken stick, they want you to say, "Oh, fiddlesticks." Make sure you contact Junk South to take care of your junk today. Sabad with a pretty blatant poke check there in on the skates of Papa Petros will send the Rock Lobsters to their first Paloma Park power play of the night. If you're not familiar, if the Rock Lobsters score tonight on the Paloma Park power play, that will trigger free churros at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app, the digital coupon book presented by 23 Design. So think about this. The Rock Lobsters, having not had a power play yet in this game, still lead 4-1. Let's see what happens with a man up. Milan on the face-off win, back to Shanker. Gallant, left of the left circle, gets back to Captain Fantastic at the line, fakes the slapper, feeds Milan on the right. Shanker, the captain, the quarterback of this power play. Milan with a pass that gets up on Gallant, goes off the glove of the number 9 and all the way back around, sent by the Moccasins. Lavalier lets it run for Shanker, lets him know that that puck is his. Milan, he takes his spot. He builds his office on the right side of the offensive zone on the power play, but the Moccasins get it out once again. Through the first 35 seconds of the first power play for the Rock Lobsters, right now they're looking a little stronger at even strength. Pass here from Shanker. Wislat enters. Gallant once again on the left. Not sure. I don't think we've seen any shots yet from the Rock Lobsters on this power play yet. Shanker wants the puck back. Milan dancing around the right circle as he so often does. Virgili almost loses it, does a great job at keeping it initially, but then gives it away right toward his fellow countryman, Hal Gustafson. Shanker wants to see something different here. He builds up a lot of speed from behind Lavalier's net. He's now joined by Papa Petros, Smith, Glukaryov, and Milan. Smith with a shot that catches, and by surprise, Papa Petros trying to take it around. Karpinski, puck still loose out in front. Karpinski desperately getting anything on that. A chance here to thank some friends of the show. Athens Area Urology. You're in good hands with Athens Area Urology. Plumber Pro, Hospitality South, Athens Coca-Cola Bottling Company, Classic City Flats, home of the Rock Lobsters, Harmon Enterprises, and Roto-Rooter. Back to the power play. 26 seconds after Sabad comes back out from his tripping penalty. Smith gets the face-off. Picard takes some work to settle it. Picard from the right circle. That one pinballs around off of Favreau. Colatarsi traverses that puck back in. Stopped by Picard here on the near boards. Banks it to Smith into the trapezoid. Smith with a tilt-a-whirl pirouette takes a hit in from behind in the corner, and now both teams are back at even strength. Rock Lobster power play has been on the uptick as of late, but not against this Monroe Moccasin team, who actually sports quite a good penalty kill, 5th in the FPHL, having killed 83% of penalties taken this year. Brilliant bat down there from Colatarsi, the Floridian. Here he is again. Avoids his fellow number 4, Houston Wilson. Picard whistles it right at Karpinski, and that one's batted out of play by the 32-year-old. We're going back to a commercial break here. It is White Claw Western Wednesday tonight in Akins Ford Arena, but it's time for the Terrapin Can Cam. We'll be back after this commercial break. It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living.
Since 1968, we've been your trusted source for home comfort. From then to now, we've evolved, but our commitment to your comfort remains unchanged. Experience the expertise that only decades of dedicated service can provide. Trust Stanfield. We've been keeping homes comfortable for over 50 years. Your comfort, our legacy. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
Sure, it felt unlikely that the pace of the second period was going to be able to follow the pace of the first, but still looking for the first goal out here and looking for his first goal as a pro was Andrew Stafora. Right out of the face-off win from Hunter Alden is able to trouble Karpinski. Karpinski has kept things perfect in the second period after a less than perfect first. Alden gets kicked out of the dot. Stafora takes his place. Jousted for in the left face-off circle. Moccasins take it away. Brilliant feed from Liriakos to Koch. Koch had the top shelf to aim for, and he missed it. Then a deflection out in front. Out on the welcome mat was Caden Henry, and he's unable to get a touch to it and pass Lavalier. We're more than halfway through this middle period, and this game has really flown by. Rock Lobsters hoping for more goals and creating more distance between them and their hated rivals. Look, there's no secret between these two teams. These are two teams that hate each other. I think both coaches will tell you that themselves. All the way around for Alden. A little bit of a reverse hit there on Koch that creates some freedom for the puck on the ice. And then Stafora finds Oja. Russell was aiming for Stafora to get it back on the far side. Russell has now won it, pokes it behind Schumacher. Stafora has shown a little bit of speed in his skating, no doubt. That is a good quality to have as he'll play a part in the Rock Lobsters squad for what remains of the regular season. However, he won't qualify for the playoffs. Rock Lobsters trying to find the top spot in the Continental Division tonight, despite the fact the Thunderbirds will have a game to play at hand. Henry with a good move, but Milan, he can make life difficult for you on both sides of the ice, just as he did right there. Lavalier, heavy touch off the blade of his stick. Loose stick right out in front of the Moccasin bench. Weisblatt takes it away. Let's see what this money line can do here. Weisblatt drops it back for Glukaryov. He just golfs that one over the bar. Go-ahead pass, just so unable to field it cleanly, and because of that, he doesn't get as much mustard as he wants to on that shot. Is also unable to put a move on Lavalier, who makes the big-time save on the journeyman. Rock Lobsters will make a change, still looking for the first goal in this middle period, about 8 minutes and 14 seconds to go. Rock Lobsters having scored all 4 of their goals, as did Monroe, scoring their 1 in the first 20 minutes of play. Virgili getting in the ear of Shanker here right before the draw. However, the Moccasins win it. Asp over to the right side. Favreau trying to get past Alden. Easier said than done. Wilson in the corner. Papapetros with the interception. The residents here of Athens used to different kinds of interceptions here. We see an interception from Conway on Shankerek. Wilson got something to it, but luckily there to stomp out the fire was Alden, who banks it off the corner. Still trouble here from the Moccasins. No look centering pass between the legs of Gisso. Again, no goals to show for it, but this is looking much more like the fiery Monroe Moccasin team that we saw last night, and that made play difficult for the Athens Rock Lobsters in last night's contest. We've got a whistle. I believe this is a holding the stick call. It was Conway and Shanker who got tied up there. And it looks like it's Conway who's going to the box. So Rock Lobsters, a brilliant start to this game, but was unable to get their power play going on its first attempt earlier on in this period. Let's see what they do here. Another reminder, if the Rock Lobsters score on the Paloma Park power play, you can access free churros at Paloma Park for 24 hours through the FanSaves app. Just yet another tremendous reason for you to download FanSaves and follow the Athens Rock Lobsters digital coupon book. Shanker stops it with a kick, kicks it right towards his best friend Virgili. Brilliant pass, Gallant, slapper from Milan. Goal light comes on. That's a mistake, however. Shanker in the slot is Gallant. Sweeps it out toward Wislat on the far side. Wislat whiffs on the initial pass. He's able to pick it back up. Gallant in the left circle has Wislat right back. Shanker. Wislat. Rock Lobsters trying to create an opening, but this Moccasins team is doing quite a good job on the penalty kill. That puck is out of play. Rock Lobsters keeping this unit out there. However, it looks like Glukharov is coming into the mix for Wislat. Similar profiles, really, Wislat and Glukharov. They're both pretty physical guys, similar skills and similar pros. Shanker faking Sabat out, enters in on the right side. Gets tipped back towards the center of the ice. Milan has it in his good graces. Gallant just tries to ease it back in towards Milan, but Milan had two defenders collapse in on him. Heavy hit in behind there on Sabat from Virgili. A little bit of a European connection, and not in a way that Sabat was hoping for. Milan, left of the circle, rare for him. Back to Shanker at the line. Right side, Milan. Behind the goal line, Virgili. Back to Super Milan. Captain Fantastic shot gets blocked. Trying to take him with it after the block was Stefanini, who has scored the lone Moccasin goal in this game. 27 seconds on the man advantage for Athens. Let's see if there's one more rush in this one. Shanker with a long-distance pass right back into the defensive zone. Glukharov to Oja. Oja dumps and chases. Karpinski into the trapezoid to play it himself, and then it's slapped out of contention for the Rock Lobsters, and that will likely end their power play as there's just seconds that dangle off the clock now. A kick and a skip. Glukharov. Is there one last move here? Rock Lobsters still trying to use the escaping Conway out of the penalty box to their advantage, but now the Moccasins have numbers to spring ahead. Anderson gets knocked into the glass by Kolatarsi. Favreau makes a move at the line. Shot comes through traffic. Conway may have got a touch to it, but a pad save from Lavalier nevertheless. Avery Smith, right to left, between the legs, loses it to Favreau. Smith offers at that one towards Conway. Anderson over the line, can't find the Monroe Greek hockey player, Lyriakos. Rock Lobsters have one of their own in Papa Petros. Giveaway from the Moccasins. Unforced. Smith gets something to it on the pass from Picard, but nothing to trouble Karpinski, who's been a lot more comfortable in this second period. What about Lavalier, though? Lyriakos misses over the bar. Smith has it back and gets it through Jasso. Papa Petros, the defenseman, a little bit out in no man's land, but he's making the most of it. Turns around at the line! Oh, the Athenian anchor! He's got his first as a pro, and the Rock Lobsters up 5-1. It's poetic. It's powerful. It's Zach Papa Petros. Let's look again at the Crawford Laundry spin cycle. Papa Petros, he stomps on the brakes, a turnaround shot at a tight angle, and that one gets through Karpinski for the first pro goal from the North Andover, Massachusetts native. And it looks like there will be a change in net for the Moccasins. Gary Gill has seen enough of Cody Karpinski, and Sean Kuhn will, after his tremendous performance last night, go back into the cage for the Moccasins. Well, Papa Petros pops one in past Karpinski. Karpinski gets the hook. Kuhn now on in his place, and the Rock Lobsters lead 5-1. Powell, banker off the end boards to Shanker. It gets cut out there by Houston Wilson. Creative centering pass, and then just so, knowing he had a great opportunity to get one back, misses the net. Papa Petros with the unassisted goal, but the Moccasins looking dangerous here late on in the second. 3 minutes and 40 seconds to go. Wilson, a little bit of around the world from him. Poked back in by Bacon. Right circle shot, just so, spills out of the glove of Lavalier. Second bite of the cherry, just as sour for Jasso. Great cut out of the pass there from Wilson by Powell, and here come the Rock Lobsters the other way. Picard with a quarterback pass. It'll be icing if Russell doesn't reach it, but it never reached the goal line either. And now a breakaway on the other side. Liriakos past Lavalier and in. Liriakos made his debut here for the Monroe Moccasins at Akins Ford Arena a few weeks ago, but that's his first goal in the Lobster Tank. Is there still time in this game for the Moccasins to bring some danger to the Rock Lobsters? Right now, they have scratched back to within 3. A little bit of boot scooting, a little bit of boot skating here from the Moccasins, trying hard to earn a closer deficit, but has Milan be sprung? Doesn't look so as of yet, has been sprung rather. Wislat looking for a call, he doesn't get one. Liriakos from Jasso. That one goes down in the scorebook. Oja. Sabad, the no look, doesn't find any teammate. Weisblatt bats it down with a hand onto the ice. Milan pokes it ahead for Garcia. Garcia unable to take the puck with him. 2 minutes and 24 seconds to go. Rock Lobsters with a comfortable 5-2 lead, but the second period has been a tied affair, goals from each side, and not a lot of time between them either. Papa Petros with his first pro goal, and then the Moccasins answered back through Liriakos, the veteran. Look at the speed from Alden. He gets taken down with a stick into his skates. No call there for Athens. Weisblatt gets it back over to Alden. Virgili picks it up, tries to center it back towards the number 22, takes a hit up high from Asp. A little bit of Swede on Swede there. Both teams trying to settle this puck down. It'll be Favreau who does. Icing against the Moccasins. Minute 26 to go when we go back to a commercial break, the last one of this second period. Rock Lobsters had a 5-1 lead, but now it's cut to 5-2. How about that? The first goal from Papa Petros, who popped it in past Karpinski. We'll be back after this.
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
Just a minute 26 left in this second period. 2 goals in the second, one for Monroe, one for Athens. Papapetros and Lyriakos. Quite a Greek feel here to the second period. Let's see how it ends with the remaining minute 20. Jusso stops it in the near side corner. He assisted that goal from Lyriakos. Kolatarsi in behind Lavalier's net. Alden can't get to it. Stopped at the line by Favreau. Wilson just tries to make Lavalier uncomfortable. Speaking of uncomfortable, he gets tied up with Papapetros. A dangerous pass out to the far post from the Moccasins. We've seen a lot of hits off the puck that just haven't been called. It's perplexing to say the least. Good play there from Jusso in behind on Kolatarsi. That wins the puck back, loose out in front. Lavalier out of his crease. Wilson couldn't stuff it, then a slapper from Schumacher. Kaysen Gallant has his skates moving towards the net of Sean Kuhn. Alden with the shot. He tries to center it, but Gallant hadn't dropped back. Always unselfish. Maybe a little bit too much so there. Stefanini misses wide right. Great pass to Schumacher. Awkward deflection through the legs of Lavalier as it spilled through the crease. 7 seconds to go. Wilson had a chance to jam it through, but Lavalier covers up. 5.4 seconds to go, and teams exchanging pleasantries right in front of the Athens net. Five seconds to go in this middle period. The last few seconds trickle off the clock, and that will stay a heavy advantage for the Rock Lobsters. A 5-2 lead for them, but look at the shots on goal. The Moccasins, 34 shots on goal in comparison to Athens' 21. But the Rock Lobsters have been much, much, much more efficient. 2 goals scored in the middle period. Both scored by players of Greek descent. First, it was the Rock Lobsters. Papapetros went all around the rink before scoring his first as a pro. Stomped on the brakes right on the goal line and troubled Karpinski with a shot that asked questions. Maybe it might have been a centering pass. You'll never know the intention there of Papapetros, but it goes down as his first pro goal, to say the least. And then Yanni Lyriakos, less than a minute later, he goes forehand, backhand on a break against Lavalier and pulls the Moccasins back once again. Well, the Rock Lobsters still comfortable here at Akins Ford Arena, up 5-2. Papapetros scores his first goal as a pro. Papapetros having a interesting foray into the professional leagues, but guess what? So did Orca Wislat, someone who has such an interesting story. He'll be our second period Lobster Tales tonight. Here is the story of Orca Wislat. Voice of the Rock Lobsters, Mateen Rad, back with another episode of Lobster Tales here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. My guest today is a winger from Calgary, and his name is Orca Wislat. Orca, thanks so much for joining me today, man.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Listen, I wanted to get started with your season so far, and you've contributed at a high level in your time on the ice with the Rock Lobsters this season. Watching you as much as I have, you have such an all-around game, and you don't have a lot of chinks in your armor. No one knows your game as much as you. How would you describe your style of play?
Yeah, I think, I play a little bit of a different game than most people. I like to kind of slow the game down just a little bit. I like to think the game very, very well. I think for me, I'm more of a playmaker. So obviously, when you're playing with Millsy and Danny there, they can put the puck in the net. So it's fun for me to, be creative with my play style.
It's been so great to see you back on the ice after suffering an injury earlier on in the year against Monroe. Can you talk about the injury you sustained and what the recovery process looked like for you after surgery?
Yeah, for me, that sucked, obviously. Last year I broke my ankle, so, 2 injuries back to back is never fun. Wrist is feeling good. Obviously it was a process to get, the strength back and whatnot. But I feel good. With it being your top hand, you don't realize how much, you use your wrist and whatnot, but, I've adjusted to it and I feel good.
You had a difficult injury last season, as you just mentioned as well, when you were with the Pensacola Ice Flyers in the SP. I know it seems like those days are behind you with, the injury this year and the injury last year, but, how did you handle things and how frustrating was it since you left the WHL? Because it seems like it's been very sort of start-stop for you.
Yeah. Obviously, there's a lot that goes into it. Stopped playing for about 3 years just to, I had some family issues back home and whatnot. So I had to take care of some of that stuff. And then, 4 games in last year, snapped my ankle. That's no fun too. So for me, I'm just trying to stay healthy, take care of my body, making sure that I show up every day in practice or in games, just to keep, my body healthy enough to, not be hurt or, not take any risk on any injuries or whatnot. I take advantage of Chris quite a bit. So usually in the training room, kind of getting my body worked on after every game or after every practice, just so I don't get back into those injuries.
There's no doubt to me, Oryx, you have one of the most interesting stories in all of hockey. And the heroine of that story is your mother, Kim. For those who may be unaware, you grew up a coda or a child of a deaf adult. And she never let any of that get in the way of providing for you or your 4 siblings. What are your favorite qualities about your mother and what inspires you about how she brought you, your brothers, and your sister up?
Yeah, one of a kind. Coolest mom out there. More than just, her personality. She's such a caring mom. She puts everything into, making us happy. She puts us first. She's a hero for sure. She, we couldn't be doing what we were, what we do now without her. So it's kind of, one of the reasons why I call her a couple times a day just to check in, see how she's doing and whatnot. But yeah, she's put aside everything, just to make sure that we're all taken care of, on the ice or off the ice. Such a caring mom. And, yeah, she's the best.
I think being a child of a deaf adult, it's difficult for, people like me who had an upbringing with hearing parents to kind of put myself in those kinds of shoes. I was curious, what was your first communications as a baby like? Did you happen to remember what your first signed word was? And then do you remember what your first spoken word was?
I think my first signed one was milk. So just milk. I think that was pretty easy for me, but, I learned sign language before I even learned English. And all the boys, the way that we learned English was, watching TV. Obviously, our parents can't speak. So for us, it's kind of just TV. It's a little bit different than most kids out there, but, we found a way to kind of get through it. And, yeah.
It's a topic that I've also talked about with your brother, Ocean, who also played for the team this year. He experienced all the same nuances, but just a little bit before you did. How helpful was it to have someone who was hearing able to guide you through the early stages of a life that not many other people know the ins and outs of?
You're talking about Ocean?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. He was the biggest role model. He was kind of like the dad in the family. Obviously, my parents split up while we were pretty young. I think I was 10, 11. And Osh was kind of, that dad role model of the family. kind of just protecting us and whatnot. Super, super protective brother, but at the end of the day, not many people have that. So I'm super thankful for that. It was kind of just, to be honest with you, when we were younger, it was kind of just him and my mom, kind of just, helping out with the family, making sure everything's taken care of. If something goes down, OSHA's usually there. Translating with my mom at, a school or the grocery store, wherever. My mom's, she's good with that stuff. But for us, we're hearing, so we're always trying to kind of get in there and make sure that we can help out as much as we can. But, Osh was usually that, that one guy who took everything on his shoulders and kind of just, he was a dad role model.
For those who haven't watched it, there's a great Hometown Heroes segment, little 5-6 minute segment about you and your family. And something that I saw in that was that your mother put you and your brothers in sports to expand your ability to communicate and socialize. Do you believe that had its intended effect? And what else do you think sports taught you outside of the household?
Yeah, I think sports just gives me confidence. Without sports, I really don't know what, I'd be doing. I played so many different sports growing up: baseball, soccer, hockey, football, kind of just everything. And, for me, I feel like you make the best friends from playing sports. All my best buddies I've played with or played against. Just kind of that culture of, people who play sports, you kind of get that lingo or whatnot. So for me, obviously, it was huge. Not really sure what I'd be doing without, playing hockey or, back home. I usually play softball in the summertime and, a lot of golf and whatnot. But sports is, don't know what I'd be doing without it.
A large portion of the hockey community is familiar with the Wise Black Boys. You, Ocean, your brother Ozzy, and we'll talk more about him, and also Oasis. 4 brothers that all play hockey, but someone who gets lost in the mix, and probably a lot of that has to do with her young age, is your sister Oceania. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Oceania.
Yeah.
Has she shown some of the same interest in sports, or maybe even hockey specifically?
She hates it. She hates it. She had to, go to the rink and watch all 4 boys play her entire life, so she hates it. Well, but she's a sporty girl though. She's a very active girl. She's more into like horseback riding and all that kind of stuff. Hockey's the no-go for her though. She'll never strap on the boots. She'll never hockey's not for her, but she loves horses. She loves all that kind of stuff. It's more her. She's more of a girly, obviously, 4 boys. We're pretty protective too, so I don't think she'll be finding a boyfriend anytime soon.
I was going to say 4 hockey playing brothers. She must be the safest girl in Calgary, huh?
Yeah, you should. My little brother Oasis, he's a little Rottweiler in our family. He's the obviously just because he's closest to her age, but it's fun. It's we got such a fun family. Summertime's so much fun. I just saw my mom for the first time in a year and a half, obviously, when I went down to go see Oz. And that was just the best thing ever. She's in London, Ontario right now. So summertimes I spend it I'm usually in Calgary or Vancouver. So I don't get to spend too much time with her. She moved out, I think, 2 years ago. So seeing her for the first time was awesome.
When I first met you and your brother Ocean, and knowing kind of the trend among your name, I mean, obviously Ozzy bucks that trend, but Oceania, Ocean, Orca, Oasis, all sort of, let's say nautical themed names. What was the inspiration from your mother to go that route? Do you know?
I think she's just she's big time hippie. We were born in Bowen Island. So basically it's just kind of just right off of Vancouver. It's just a little island. We had a house kind of just on the ocean. So for me, apparently she's seen, orca whales all the time. So that's why she named me Orca. Ocean was just because of the ocean. Ozzy, I have no idea. I think Ozzy Osbourne, the singer. Oasis, no idea. And then Oceana is just spelt, it's ocean with an I and an A at the end. So not really sure what the background from that is, but I get that question quite a bit and I just never know how to answer it.
You know, that brings us to the next topic, which is your brother, Ozzy, who made his NHL debut with the Nashville Predators right at the start of the new year. No doubt there's a great feeling in your heart seeing a Wislat make it to the show, but I want to know if it feels like a fruition of everyone's hard work, from your mom to you and Ocean, who kind of paved the way, or do you view it as something that he accomplished completely on his own?
I think it was just him. Obviously growing up, we trained so hard together, but, at the end of the day, the way that guy works is just, it's night and day. Just, it's so special to see how hard that guy trains. Summertime, he's in the gym. If he's not in the gym, he's taking care of his body. If he's always doing something. So, as much as I want to take credit, it's all his hard work and, his passion for the game. And, when you love something so much, you don't really like to do anything else. And, that's kind of him. He just hockey. So, couldn't be more proud for him.
I saw the behind the scenes footage of the post game after his NHL debut, and he gets recognized by Steven Stamkos. Did you get a chance to ask him what that was like? Because Stammer must be someone that I'm sure you and your brothers all looked up to as young guys.
Yeah, not even just him. I spent a little bit of time with a couple of those Nashville guys, and so many good guys. Stammer, that was pretty cool. Obviously, I talked to him a little bit after that, and he said that was probably the coolest moment, he's ever been a part of. But there's probably 6-7 great leaders on that team. So for him to just be in that locker room, he feels so special, and he's got all the help that he needs around him. And then the way that guy is he's not shy to kind of, ask for questions. He's not shy on, how can I do this better? How can I do this? And he's always, I think he's close enough with those guys where, he's open to kind of having those conversations on, how he can help his game. But yeah, that was a really, really cool moment.
You were coming off the last couple of weeks of your injury when you went back home to go watch Ozzy play. How much of that was a boost in your engine to really want to get back going on the ice and getting back to doing what you love?
Yeah. I mean, I was off for about 2 months. So, watching our games, it's, I love watching our games. That's why, I was on the bench for a little bit, just to kind of, read how other players are playing, read on, how some of the players on our team are playing and how I can kind of, try and make myself, put an impact on myself on, how I can improve myself out there and, what we need as a team and whatnot. So that was definitely put some fire in the engine. Obviously first game back, I was so pumped to even play, and, not even just coming back for the first game, but in Monroe, like that's where I got hurt. So, I was just fired up. I wanted to play good. I wanted to help the team win. That was definitely an impact on, how I performed the first game.
Something that I'm sure also added some gas to your tank back in the day was playing against your brothers back in the WHL days. Is it difficult not to focus on what they're doing on the ice when you're playing against them and focus on yourself, or are you wanting to get the better of your flesh and blood?
It's a good question. So Ozzy and Oasis were a little bit different. I grew up kind of just playing with Ocean most of my life. Obviously, he's a year older than me, so I was always kind of up a level playing with them. Playing against Ozzy, that was super, super cool. So that was, Ozzy and me are a little bit more competitive just because he's a little bit younger than me. So I was kind of giving it to him that game. Oasis, on the other hand, he's my little baby brother. So I was a little scared to kind of, go hard on him. Not scared, but, I wanted to make sure that he looked good too. So, obviously completely different playing Oasis and Ozzy. Ozzy was a little bit more physical on, he can take it. Now Oasis, he's a beast. He fights, he scores goals, makes plays. He's, I wouldn't fight him now. So I'm glad I went easy on him when I played him.
No doubt can't wait to see what becomes of your younger brothers' hockey careers that are still blossoming. Back to your career, and it was interesting that the first line that Coach Martinson ever puts out is a combination of you, Garrett Milan, and Malik Johnson, 3 guys that all know each other from the Pensy days. How poetic did it feel to get on the ice with this new team, but have 2 guys that you know very well in the center and the other side of you?
Yeah, 2 great hockey players. Different hockey players, but start with Mallow. Mallow is he's such a good hockey player. He might not be flashy, but he does everything right. He works so hard. Smart hockey player too. Extremely physical, not a player you kind of want to play against. Millsy, super, super skilled. Fun playing with him. Me and him kind of, especially now we're on a line, that chemistry that we have, it's pretty good, especially when we're both kind of buzzing some games. I don't feel my best, but, I try to contribute somehow. But Millsy, he's such a complete hockey player as well, where, I trust him when I'm, deep in the zone, where he's a little bit back, where, if I make a mistake, I know that he's going to cover me, or vice versa. If he makes a mistake, I try and cover him. 2 great hockey players, though.
Well, Orca, talking to you about you and your story has been one of my favorite chats of the year thus far. Thanks so much for taking the time, man.
Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
That was my chat with Orca Wislat, and we are right back into the action here at Akins Ford Arena. 20 minutes to play. The Rock Lobsters out to a comfortable lead, 5-2. If you want to check out any more Lobster Tales, make sure you check out our playlist right here on the Athens Rock Lobster Network. Early icing in the first 10 seconds of play. For those of you who are tuning in, all 291 of you, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe so you can play a part in the chat. Like the stream if you haven't already, and also ring the bell to stay notified of all future Athens Rock Lobster content. Looks like there's something the matter with the ice and the crease of Sean Kuhn. For those of you who are just tuning in, Karpinski got the hook in the second period after the 5th goal from the Rock Lobsters scored by Zach Papapetros, his first as a pro. Captain Kiddo asking that question, who scored goal number 5? Indeed, the man that I'm dubbing the Athenian anchor, Zach Papapetros. He stomped on the brakes right on the goal line and then sent one through on Karpinski, who was the netminder at the time. Looks like they're taking care of the ice here. And that gives us a chance to tell you about season tickets. Crustacean Nation, the time is now. Season tickets for the upcoming Rock Lobster season are officially on sale. Lock in your seat and be part of every hard-hitting, goal-scoring, crowd-roaring moment right here in the tank, Akins Ford Arena. Don't miss your chance to experience the energy, the excitement, and the best hockey in town all season long. Scan the QR code on your screen now to secure your tickets and join the Rock Lobsters family today. Looks like the ice has been taken care of. All of the remnants swept into a bucket and out of the rink. Kuhn feeling a little bit more comfortable. And the Moccasins and head coach Gary Gill will hope that he's more comfortable than Karpinski was in this matchup. Heavy hit in behind. Stafura and Favreau got tied up. Josh E. asking, is Stafura the guy who went to the police academy, as we see a shot come in with a step in front of the left circle from Rasmus Asp? And to answer your question, Josh, I'm pretty sure he is. We'll get confirmation of that the next time we talk with head coach Steve Martinson. Lavalier swallows up a shot from the line from Asp. That is Lavalier's 34th save of the night. He has stayed busy despite the heavy advantage on the scoreboard for Athens. Face off right out to the right of Lavalier. It's been a start-stop beginning to the third period through the first 34 seconds. Face-off comes off the lineman, and Milan and Gisot were tied up there. Weisblatt plays it down with a glove. He's got a quick hand. He finds Glukarov, who with a quick pass to Milan. Milan out to the left for Shanker. Whistles one around the glass. Almost fell to Wilson, but Weisblatt's there first. A lot of speed and a lot of power on that shot from Shanker. Bacon, the Atlanta, Georgia native, gets edged out. Sent back in around by the Moccasins. Gisot with a long-range shot that got saved by Lavalier. Another good start to the period for the Moccasins. They had one in the second as well as Kali Kovuniemi prompts a blocker save from Lavalier. Weisblatt lets it run to the boards of his bench, picked back up by Gisot, sent back in. Weisblatt gets tied up with the skates of Gisot, no call there. Seems like we've been seeing those kind of no calls against both teams really in this game. Officials letting both teams play in this game, and we've got another icing going against the Moccasins. It is a staggering shot on goal column there, 36-21 in favor of the Moccasins, yet down by 3. Virgili against Anderson here on the faceoff. Instead, Wilson will take Anderson's place, and then Anderson asks for his spot back. Interesting exchange there. Virgili back to Garcia. Catches Kuhn up high, who makes the save. Virgili unable to do anything with the rebound. Garcia can't keep that one from trickling over the blue line. Sends it back in, but all of the Rock Lobsters back to the neutral zone. Very, very close to too many men on the ice there for the Moccasins. Centering effort from Virgili didn't miss Gallant by much. Gisot here on the near side. Back to Koivuniemi. Anderson with a game of keep away against Garcia and Russell. Russell being deployed as a forward tonight. The center from Stefanini never made it to Anderson. Gallant playing out on the left. Was looking for the no-looker towards Russell, and that instead will be an icing with 17:29 to go in regulation. It took more than regulation last night. At the way things are going, it's not going to remain that case here tonight. Rock Lobsters won in the shootout after being down 3-1 at one point in the game. They found themselves down in the shootout as well. The Moccasins scored on their first 2 shots. The Rock Lobsters only had 1 goal through that same period. However, Rosenzweig was able to stop 3 shots in a row, and then goals from Milan and Glukarov on the shootout secured the majority of the spoils. 2 points to the Moccasins, 1. And now the Rock Lobsters are trying to leapfrog the Carolina Thunderbirds in the Continental Division standings for that number 1 spot. However, if it does happen tonight, the game at hand will still be in play for the Thunderbirds. Kuhn was out of his crease to play that puck, and Smith had a chance with an open net, but could not cast a spell on that puck. That shot from the line spills out of the glove of Lavalier, taken back around by Sabad, who has Powell hanging on him. Asp does enough there, and thank goodness he did from a Moccasin perspective, because Picard could have poked it through for himself and been gone on a breakaway, as Asp was the furthest skater back. Good defensive play all around, and here comes an odd man rush for the Rock Lobsters. The new man, Stafora, still loose out in front. It's in! Avery Smith with his first. 2 of the newest Rock Lobsters combined for goal number 6 on the night. Stafora and Smith, the latter, getting his first in Athens colors. One thing is for sure, we knew about the profile of Avery Smith was he was going to be someone who thrived playing out in front of this Rock Lobster crowd. We'll get another look here, but it looks like the referees are in consultation on if this is going to count or not. Stafora with the backhand sweep. Smith pokes it right back in. I don't see any contact there on the goaltender. Captain's talking with the referees. Now, maybe the question will be, did Smith impede the movement from right to left for Kuhn? The scoreboard now reads 5-2. Make of that what you will. I haven't seen the referees reach for the iPad yet. And it looks like we are indeed going to a video review. The head official tonight, Sean Deloy, stepping into the booth to watch this. He'll be joined by the other referee, Bob Langdon. And we'll keep a close eye on if this one's going to count or not. I didn't see much in it that could have drew it back. Avery Smith went hard towards the other side of the net. The question will be, was enough of Smith in the crease of Kuhn to impede the goaltender and stop this sixth goal for Athens from counting? We're going to go to a quick commercial break here, and we'll be back hopefully with an answer on if it's a 6-2 game or a 5-2 game.
When you're the Athens Rock Lobsters' biggest enforcer, life can get pretty messy. That's when Justin Portillo calls Crawford Laundry. Justin Portillo only trusts Crawford Laundry to get his toughest game day stains out in plenty of time for the next one.
Meet our professional team, where the best customer service is our promise. With over 5 decades of expertise, trust Stanfield to keep you comfortable. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
It's a historic season for all the hockey fans in Athens, and how can you celebrate without beer? The Athens Rock Lobster Clawshank Redemption is available exclusively at Terrapin Tap Room. Terrapin, do the right thing, always. The referees in the booth add a couple extra viewers to our stream, and the goal is called off. Steve Martinson immediately out to the front row, out in front of his bench. He wants an explanation. Goal waved off. Smith deprived of his first in Athens colors, and the scoreline moves back down 5-2. I wish we could get the referees on a PA here to explain what goes into that no call there. I didn't feel like there was much in it. But nevertheless, scoreline is back down to 5-2, and the Rock Lobsters will continue to look for more distance between them and their Continental Division rivals. Centering pass, Picard loose out in front, tries to bat it down out of midair. Stafora stops it with a skate. Smith trying to get it in the Rock Lobster possession, but here come the Moccasins the other way. Liriakos, the scorer of the Moccasins' second, a centering effort towards Caden Henry. And here come the Rock Lobsters with a 2-on-1 brewing. Stafora, Smith, can those two combine again? Pad save from Kuhn. Stafora takes a nasty hit up high in the corner. He's not back up to his feet. The Moccasins trying to make the most of their numbers. Henry kicks it to himself, whistled right abound the end boards, and Stafora able to get back to the bench. Glukarioff. Danny tries to dangle through 3, but Liriakos sending it the other direction. Stefanini with a drop toward Conway, right into the chest protector of Lavalier. See if we can get another look at that, and that goal from Smith. Thought I saw the stick get on the puck, but maybe it was him slamming the brakes on the skate. Apollo Pede Hockey League with a good point in the chat. Feels like it's much more likely to be a kicking motion than a goaltender interference call. However, didn't feel like an intentional kick at all from Smith. Felt like him just trying to stop at the net. Glukarioff again to Wislat. U-turn from the killer whale. Shanker at the line. Milan has it trickle in off his stick. Sticks it into the corner for Glukarioff. 2 number 77s jousting there. Glukarioff kicks it to Wislat. Looking for Milan, couldn't find him. And now Anderson moving from west to east. Poked away by Glukarioff. Whiffs on the initial pass, but able to find Ozha eventually. Banked right back towards the Russian. Milan with a hard slapper past Kuhn and into the end boards. Bacon. Favreau. Poked in by Gisso. Papa Petros. He has scored the last goal in this game as it stands. Russell backhands it into the zone. Beautiful feed for Gallant and a beautiful glove save by Kuhn. That might be the best save we've seen on the night, but is it too little too late from a Moccasin perspective? We go to a commercial break. Rock Lobsters continue to lead 5-2. Thought they had a 6-2 advantage, but that was waved off. Classic City Flats is a brand new apartment community in Athens, Georgia that redefines luxury living, offering a sleek and contemporary living experience. Our impeccably designed apartment homes boast sophisticated interiors, premium amenities, and exquisite finishes, providing residents with an unparalleled downtown living experience. Classic City Flats is excited to deliver luxury apartments that set the new standard of sophisticated living in Athens, Georgia. Classic City Flats, redefining your horizon of living. So just in consultation with the statistical staff that joined me up here in the booth, the people who are in charge of keeping the statistics of the game, they're right behind me here in the press box, and they've given me the indication that apparently the puck never crossed the line. So it's not a call of whether or not that there was interference or whether it was kicked in with a skate. It's that it was never a goal to begin with. We will see later on if that is the case. We'll go back and review the footage. But it didn't seem to be a lot of indication there from the Rock Lobsters that it was anything but a goal. Scoreline is back to 5-2. Gallant lets it run out to the near side for Virgili. Virgili in the corner. Virgili trying to get it away from 2-3. Still finds a pass to Russell. Russell whisks one in through skates, trying to look for Gallant. Gallant now looking for a deflection from Russell out in front of Kuhn's net. Russell past the goal line. Tries to squeeze it through to Virgili. Banked off of legs, falls for Gallant to Papa Petros. Gallant throws a knuckleball right at Kuhn. Tim Wakefield style. Both teams will change 5-man units. A little less than 7 minutes gone in the third period. The Rock Lobsters looking for maybe something more than a dagger at this point, a katana to try and deal with the Snakes. And meanwhile, the Moccasins looking for life back in this game. Alden tying up with Koivuniemi. Sent a long way by Kolatarsi. Bounces down off the glass, picked up by Hal Gustafson. Smith trying to shadow him, now getting in on Sabad. Couple pokes in at Sabad. Two players who started the FPHL season with different teams. Sabad with the Zydeco, Smith with the Rockers. Here's Smith again. Can he get that goal back? That one's going to count. There's no doubt about this one this time. Smith has his first in Athens colors. That one definitely crossed the line. Let's take another look with the Crawford Laundry spin cycle. And it feels like all you're going to see here is the net bulge. There's Smith coming into your frame, and he knocks the water bottle off of the top shelf. Great shot from Smith. 6-2 lead, and Rock Lobster from the B-52s playing out over the loudspeaker. The Rock Lobsters have yet to reach 30 shots in this game, but that's goal number 6 for them, as they look well on their way to extending their win streak against the Moccasins to 11 games. Here's Smith again. Stafura with the shot. Rather, it was Alden was sniping that top shelf, but Kuhn got in front of that bullet. Apollo asking in the chat, is there a game tomorrow night? Yes, there is. We've got a game once again at 7:05, finishing off this 3-game set against the Monroe Moccasins. Smith from Stafura and Alden. This third line for the Rock Lobsters combining. That one over the head of everybody. Shanker down to both knees to stop it with a glove. Sent in, icing waved off as it's played by the stick of Lavalier. Shanker has Anderson bearing down in on him. Oja in the trapezoid. Oja around. Stafura is there. Alden with a great poke. Unable to bustle in on that one, however. Asp didn't know Picard was there, sends Smith the other way. He's got goal number 1, but he sees a centering effort towards Glukarioff get blocked out by Sabad. Caden Henry, he has the most speed potentially of this Moccasin team, gets himself in the right circle on a bustling run and sends a shot that stings the chest of Lavalier. Face-off will happen, I believe, to the left here of Lavalier. It looks to be the case. Big drink of water for him. He's been the busier of the 2 goaltenders tonight, of the 3 goaltenders tonight, I guess, as both Kuhn and Karpinski have taken part in this game. Right out of the face-off, Wilson shoots one wide on Lavalier. Picard bats it up. Good vertical there from Schumacher to grab that one out of midair. Just so, very creative centering feed. Should be a Moccasin there to put the finishing touches on it, but there isn't. Glukarioff eases it down like a soccer ball, like a great touch from a footballer, if you will. Milan thinks about the wicked wrister, takes contact out in front, I believe, from Bacon. But the combination of Bacon and Kuhn are able to keep it out. Garcia gets tied up with Jussot, and because of that, we are going to a Leslie Jones Law penalty kill. Strong, skilled, strategic defense. When you think those words, you think Leslie Jones Law, and the Rock Lobsters hoping to keep a strong lead here. Matt Garcia trying to plead his case. Referees want no part of it. I'd have to think it's an interference call going against Garcia. Still awaiting what the infraction is over the loudspeaker. Face off with the Moccasins. Koch with a hit in on Weisblatt. Good exchange here. Moccasins trying to create an opening, just so. He's very good at doing just that. Contact from the Moccasins on goaltender William Lavalier from Houston Wilson. Just so sends it back to the line. Stopped at the blue line by Favreau. Just so out to the right. Favreau with a shot. A lot of speed on that one. Wilson gets it back to the line. Good job by Favreau to keep it in. Good passing in the first minute of this Monroe power play. Wilson, tight angle shot, whips it in. Lavalier hugs the post and keeps it from going in. Little deflection out in front. Combination of Liriakos and Jasso. William Lavalier stands tall once again as he watches his 39th save go into his equipment. We're going to a commercial break here. Rock Lobsters continue to lead 6-2. Will that change on what remains of the Leslie Jones Law penalty kill?
Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but soon your toilet will clog again.
What if it won't flush?
We'll always repair it.
Nobody puts baby in a flooded corner.
Maybe I should still fix it.
You had me at hello. We've got same-day service.
Plumbing completes me.
Since 1968, we've been your trusted source for home comfort. From then to now, we've evolved, but our commitment to your comfort remains unchanged. Experience the expertise that only decades of dedicated service can provide. Trust Stanfield. We've been keeping homes comfortable for over 50 years. Your comfort, our legacy. Schedule online at stanfieldair.com.
.26 to go in regulation, but 49 seconds left on the power play for the Moccasins to try and get themselves to within 3. Kolatarsi over to Alden, who one times it out of his zone, stopped by Kuhn, who's out of his crease to the left side of the goal line. Picked back up by Schumacher, generating speed on the right side out of his own zone. Helped into the Rock Lobster side of the ice by Sabad, but apparently he didn't get a touch to it, and that is an icing from the Moccasins on their own power play. A reminder here over the loudspeakers, March 29th is Star Wars night. I can show you what's in store here. Take a quick look at the score bug. We've got a Star Wars score bug that's already created for that special night. Either tune in or make sure you are in the building for Star Wars night, March 29th, as the Rock Lobsters take on the Baton Rouge Zydeco. Conway on to the right side, time trickling off of this Monroe power play. Will they notch one back? Schumacher whiffs at the line. Alden trying to win it back to Smith, and he does. Smith right back towards Alden. Alden will ask for the change. Rock Lobsters will get Matt Garcia back. Gallant watches that one drop down. Once again, very, very similar to the pass from Papa Petros that dropped right down in front of Kason Gallant, who then converted it over to Virgili, who scored to make it 4-0 at the time. 4 goals split, 2 apiece between the two teams since then. Monroe face-off win in front of their own bench. Just so. 2 Swedes, Hal Gustafsson and Koivu Niemi, combined to get it out of the defensive ice. Jasso gets edged out. Here comes the newest Athens Rock Lobster with a pass who doesn't go his way, Andrew Stafura. He's got an assist in this one, though. Wilson with a shot. There was a body out in front. It was Koivu Niemi who was causing Lavalier some discomfort. And actually, it's Stafura with 2 assists on the night. The primary on Smith's goal to make it 6-2, and then the secondary on Gallant's goal to make it 2-0. Henry lining up for the face-off against Milan. Milan wins the draw cleanly. Papa Petros, who scored his first pro goal here tonight. Glukaryov Easing it back to Milan. Milan doesn't even have to look to trouble Kuhn, but the goaltender from Glen Falls, New York, makes the save on the superhero. Koch with a backhand flip from the right circle, misses wide left, turnaround shot right back at Lavalier, spills out in behind, picked up by Henry, stopped at the line by Asp. Back to the Moccasin number 12, Henry in behind the goal line. Wislat makes an interception on that pass, cuts it out and sends it out. Lukarioff in a foot race there with Asp. Asp will get there first, and it's going to be an icing against Athens. The draw will get taken back out toward Lavalier's net. Lukarioff probably thinking that he had won the race by the time he had reached the dots there, but an icing nevertheless. .7:31 to go. Milan swats at it. Moccasins come away with it. Sabad takes a check in the corner. Lukarioff tries to settle that puck down, unable to do so. Sent in by the Moccasins. Wislat gets a touch to it, can't find Smith with the pass. Moccasins in behind Lavalier's net. Pass evades Sabad. Wislat, Lukarioff. Beautiful year from the Rock Lobsters. Papa Petros looking for his second, and a big glove save from Kuhn. Garcia fetches it from his own left circle, takes it behind Lavalier's cage. Garcia rides the boards to Picard. Russell over the line, pushed with the pad from Kuhn. Out to the near side. Smith. Good move through the circle, finds Garcia. His shot stings Kuhn in the neck area. 6:21 to go in this third period. It was a decisive one for the Rock Lobsters last night as they were able to tie it through Garrett Milan and send the game into overtime. The Rock Lobsters thought they had the lead at 4-3. Deja vu there as another goal review that didn't go Athens' way. Conway with a touch but nothing more. Poked away by Papa Petros. Big hit from Picard on Koivu Niemi. Here's Koivu Niemi back up to his feet. The Moccasins playing a dangerous game on their own side of the ice. Virgili centering past Picard. Great read from Kuhn, and Kuhn has had some tremendous performances in this building. There's a decision to be made for Gary Gill tomorrow night on which goaltender he'll put in the cage. And I feel like Kuhn is making a great case for himself to be the guy for Gary Gill the rest of the season, really. Kolatarsian around Stafora. Asp backhands it towards Stafora, takes a piece of the youngster. Moccasins getting it the other way, and offside there, an easy one to call. Henry entered early before Liriakos did with the puck. Liriakos has scored one of the two goals of the Moccasins tonight. The most recent one, in fact. Gallant in to take the face-off for Virgili, who got kicked out of the circle. Gallant gets it to Virgili. A beautiful move with the stick from Virgili. Virgili with the shot. They blocked the feed over to Stafora. An interference call. Swede on Swede, and Asp is going to go to the box. .5:17 left in regulation. The Rock Lobsters go back to the Paloma Park power play. They have already scored a touchdown on Monroe. Can they kick the extra point? Virgili goes back to the bench after he took that heavy hit from the big Swede at 6'4", Rasmus Asp. Looks like it's Alden on to take his place. Is now the time for Alden, awaiting his first Rock Lobster goal. He's out on this 5-man power play unit for Athens. He's no doubt earned it, but instead he finds a beautiful feed to Gallant. Milan! Right into the midsection of Kuhn. With 4:58 to go in regulation, we go back to a commercial break. Rock Lobsters lead 6-2. They've scored the touchdown, looking for the extra point on the power play. We'll be back after this. UGA football player Amarius Mims suffered a serious injury. The quality care from the Piedmont team changed his life.
As a football player, my body is everything to me. When I got injured, I was worried about
my future in the game, but you and your team's expertise, care, and support reassured me from the start. I've been able to recover because of the quality care I received at Piedmont, and I am back playing at my full potential on the field. I can't thank you enough for what you've done for me, my family, and my future. Your help means the world to me, and I'll always be grateful for your part in keeping my dreams alive. How you doing?
Well, I didn't know you were going to be here.
Yes, sir.
I'm so proud of you. So happy for you. It gives me joy to see you out there on the field doing your thing. You look good.
Appreciate you.
It's a good-looking ankle.
I'm trying to tell you.
A little bit of smooth, sweet, sultry soul here on the karaoke cam at Akins Ford Arena. A reminder, we are back here at Akins Ford tomorrow night. Puck drop once again, 7:05. Make sure you stay tuned with us here either on the network or come on out tomorrow night and soak it in live. All the way around for Shanker. Anderson takes it away from Shanker. Somehow battles himself into a backhand, but Lavalier makes the save. The Moccasins have looked pretty dangerous shorthanded in the first 2 games of this 3-game set. Of course, the first goal of this series was a shorthanded goal from Houston Wilson. That gave them a 1-0 lead last night. Wilson tries to take it through Milan. Weisblatt to the left. Flips it back. Milan just try to put it into no man's land where a Moccasin isn't. Alden with a beautiful play. Gallant stomps on the brakes. Back to Alden. Alden unable to shift it back to a teammate. Cleared out by the Moccasins. Rock Lobsters will reload. Glukarionov on for Alden. Shanker, beautiful move. Little windmill for him, but then Conway tries to take it off the captain. Well, how do you do there from Avery Smith? Wilson trying to show blood there. He thinks he took a high stick from Smith. Kolatarsi. Shot came in, blocked by Conway. Gets it down for Hal Gustafson, who gets nothing on that. Easy for Glukarionov to take it away. Great move there. It's the new man once again, Stafora. Centering pass, Smith has 2. Good things often come in 2s. He had his first as a Rock Lobster earlier on to make it 6-2, and then he kicks up the extra point himself. Let's take another look on the Crawford Laundry spin cycle. Clever little backhand feed there from Andrew Stafora. Stafora, his third assist of the night. Feels like the result has been firmly secured now by the Rock Lobsters. And now we await to see who will be the 3 stars of the night. It's going to be a difficult decision for the powers that be to make. Stafora and Oja with the assists. Russell wins it back. Tries to send it towards Kuhn. Koch from the right side. Backhand flip, Liriakos. He's looking for his second as well. But Lavalier, with what may be his best performance as a Rock Lobster, this will be Lavalier's 9th win in 10 starts for Athens. (7-2) offensive zone face-off for the Moccasins. Right out of the face-off, whiff on the shot there from Anderson. Rock Lobsters moving the other way, dumped in by Papapetros. Smith once again, he's on hat trick watch. Stafora with Virgili and Smith. Sabad in from the left side, loses an edge. Virgili takes it away, eases it towards Smith. Smith, a hard banker off the far side. Poked ahead by Stafora. He'll go off for a change. A night to remember for Stafora. Had 1 assist as a pro in his 3 games in the SPHL with the Fayetteville Marksmen. Great takeaway there from Picard, who then no-looks it through Schumacher's legs. Picard takes a spill, still finds Smith. Through Picard and through Alden goes the pass from Smith. And now Wilson, who has loved playing villain here, out on Akins Ford Arena ice. Now just trying to find something to make himself feel good. Alden sticks it in. Prompts the chase from Russell. Gets some contact, and here's Wilson with a late breakaway. He misses the net. All the way around for Hal Gustafson. Loose out in front, just so misses wide. I believe it was Gallant that got tied up in the corner. He was slow to get back up to his feet, but we see him back in contention now. Picard tried to find Russell at the blue line, but cut out by Koch. Gallant wins it back. Gallant tries to drag it through Gustafson and Koch. The Swedish contingent wins out. Here comes Henry, who wraps it around Lavalier's net. Little backhand no-look feed. Doesn't reach Koch, stuck out into the corner. Half a minute to go in this game. From the red line. Asp helps it onto the far side. Liriakos sends one with power but not direction. Rifled back into the Monroe half from a Moccasin perspective. Henry poked away from him. Smith. He has 3 seconds, a slapper, glove save from Kuhn. The hat trick was on the line for Smith. He tries to send a slapper, but he's a happy man nevertheless. 2 goals for him to make it 6 and then 7-2 against the Continental Division rivals of the Athens Rock Lobsters, the Monroe Moccasins, who took a spanking from a claw tonight. The Rock Lobsters in a good old Western duel with the Moccasins, but for 7 times tonight, they had the quicker hand and drew the quicker shot. A lot of memorable moments in this one, including the goal, the first pro goal ever for Zach Papapetros. his goal to make it 5-1, then drew Karpinski out of the crease. They made the change toward Kuhn, did the Moccasins, but the Rock Lobsters were still able to score 2 on Kuhn after the change in goaltender. A big claws up from everyone at the center of the rink, from everyone in attendance tonight and everyone in the chat as well. All 308 of you, thank you for joining in tonight. If you haven't already, make sure you like the stream, subscribe so you can play a part in our chat all season long, and don't forget to ring the bell to stay notified of all future Athens Rock Lobster content. All that's left is to figure out who will be the 3 stars of the night. Let's take you through this one, and it was an interesting first period to say the least. Garrett Milan, the first minute and 15 seconds, was able to score one. And then about 2 minutes later, Casey Gallant logged on to make it 2-0. Carter Shanker and Philip Virgili put the finishing touches on the first period, but Ben Stefanini was able to answer back, touching in a pass from Frank Schumacher in the last minute of the first period. Then, late on in the second, Zach Papapetros steps on the brakes right on the goal line and sends a tight angle shot towards Karpinski, who let one through. That marked Papapetros' first professional goal, and also the moment that Karpinski was given the hook in place of Kuhn. Liriakos was able to go forehand backhand on Lavalier, but Lavalier had a big handle on the narrative tonight, making 42 saves. And then 2 goals in the third from Avery Smith. We'll see how the 3 stars go tonight. How about this for a story? Was announced his signing this morning. Andrew Stafora, who joined the team having played earlier this year for Castleton University, a former teammate of Brandon Picard, as well as Dominique Rodriguez and Zach Papapetros. He gets 3 assists in his Rock Lobster debut. And then a first ever pro goal for Zach Papapetros. A night to remember for the Athenian anchor. Avery Smith loves a hometown crowd. He showed them that tonight with 2 goals, and he goes into the book as the first star tonight. He tosses that shirt into the crowd, and he'll take his interview, which he earned with his first star performances. 2 goals for Avery Smith, and what a first 2 goals they were, and a great performance by the Athens Rock Lobsters. They secure 3 points tonight with a 7-2 spanking of the Moccasins. They sweep the Snakeskins away, but only for 24 hours. It will be Rock Lobsters versus Moccasins once again tomorrow night. Puck drop will be 7:05. Secure your tickets now if you haven't already. We hope to see you here in the building. Big time win for Athens, and now they are above Carolina Thunderbirds in the Continental Division standings. However, they'll now be 2 points above Carolina in the standings, but the Thunderbirds will have a game at hand. So on behalf of all of us here at Akins Ford Arena, thank you for tuning in tonight. It was one to remember. The Rock Lobsters score a touchdown and an extra point on the Monroe Moccasins and take a 7-2 victory into tomorrow's series finale. We'll either see you here in the arena or we'll see you here on the broadcast. One thing's for sure.